Hey everyone, I just thought I'd make something tonight and I'm going to make a weetbix slice. So the original weetbix slice recipe is crush up a couple of weetbix and mix them up with a few other ingredients, put them in a pan, like a brownie sort of pan, and bake it. But when I first made this, I decided to do mine a little differently. So I tried it and I liked it and it was great. But I used to buy those weetbix bites, so it's the weetbix cereal, you know, little squares, and it's got the fruit in it. So what I actually did was, at the end of a box, you end up with about this much crushed weetbix that, you know, usually just goes into the bin. Nobody ever eats that, right? Well, I know I don't. So I thought, well, you're going to crush up the weetbix anyway, so I may as well use this. And it's got the bits of berries in it, so it adds a bit of extra flavour to the recipe. So let's get started. I'll start off with 1 cup of plain flour, and to that I want to add 1 cup of just white sugar and 1 cup of desiccated coconut, and then about 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. I haven't bothered measuring that because, well, it's about 1/4 cup. It's cocoa, it's delicious. You can never have too much, right? So now we just want to mix it all together, and we just need some baking powder, which I'll grab from the cupboard. And just a little bit of that, about a teaspoon. I'm using bicarb soda because I don't have any baking powder, but about a teaspoon of that goes in. And of course our crushed weetbix. And then to go with that, once we mix that all together, our wet ingredients, which is just about a teaspoon of vanilla essence or extract, whatever you've got. That goes in. And some melted butter. So I'm just going to pour that straight into the middle and mix that all through. And then I'm going to line my tin and going to put it into the tin and we'll bake this for 15 minutes. So it's only 15 minutes, 160 degrees on fan forced oven. If you're not using a fan forced oven, 180 degrees. And then once this is ready, you just need to make a bit of an icing to go on top. Sprinkle it with some coconut. As I've used up all my coconut for this, I'm going to put a bit of sprinkles on top of mine, maybe some hundreds and thousands, you know, make it look pretty. Yeah, and you can probably put whatever you want on top, a bit of crushed almonds or something, just something to give it a bit of a nice look, but traditionally it is coconut. So I think I've mixed that up well enough. And now I'll just start by lining my pan. So with your cake pan, brownie pan, you want a bit of baking paper. And the trick is to crush it. So if you crush the paper, it fits perfectly into the pan. You don't have to worry about it sticking up while you're trying to press this in. And then just straight in with all of that ingredients. Make sure it's mixed up well and there's no bits of flour you can see. If there is, just give it another mix. And you just spread it around until you've evenly spread it out throughout the whole pan. Looking pretty good. So I'm just going to spread this into the corners a bit more, make sure it's even all the way through. You don't want any uneven bits because it's going to be not cooked enough in some parts and overcooked in others. That's pretty good. And now all I'm going to need to do with this is just stick it into the oven and bake it for 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and ice it. Alright, so my slice has come out of the oven. And I've just allowed it to cool down for about 20 minutes, just to make sure it's nice and cool. And I've made my icing to go on top. Now this is how you want your icing to be, a nice drizzly consistency. And to make this you'll need 1 cup of icing sugar, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder and a teaspoon of butter. And then to that you just need to add in water, about a tablespoon at a time. Just mix it through until you get this consistency. Don't pour it all in at once. I probably used about 4, maybe 5 tablespoons. Then we're just going to pour this top of the slice and spread it out. And as I mentioned earlier, normally you drizzle this with some coconut, just some desiccated coconut over the top, which is pretty good because it's got the coconut in it. I'm just going to use some sprinkles. Now this, when it came out of the oven, which you'll find the same thing if you follow this recipe with the berry weetbix, it just smells divine. You can smell those berries. Just adds a little something extra to it. And when people taste it, they're quite surprised. They get that delicious taste of the berries coming through. Now this will set overnight in the fridge and it's ready to serve. So that's looking pretty good. It's not icing. And to sprinkle on top, I've just got some purple sprinkles here. Some love hearts and bits and bobs. Just going to do that for half of it. And for my other half, just to be fun, I've got hundreds of thousands. Or here in Australia we call them sprinkles, because you're sprinkling them on top. Alright, so that looks pretty cool. So I'll put this into the fridge. This will set, and we'll eat this tomorrow, but I just have to have a taste now. I don't know if I can wait till the morning. Cut me off a slice, corner. Yeah, it's good. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.